Yes, guys, welcome back to another edition of Transfer News on DR Sports. Today, you've got myself, AGT, and welcoming back a true DR Sports icon. He's not been on the channel for a while, and I walked in, I couldn't wait to get this camera rolling so we could work again together, because it's always a pleasure and never a chore. He's the one and only Nicky Hawkins in the building.
Thanks
Mr.
very much,
West
mate.
Ham.
Congratulations, by the way. I haven't seen you since you won the league, but congratulations.
Thanks, mate. I've been celebrating for some time, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
It's actually been quite a bit too long for the old liver.
I think you might be the only person who's had a good football season last season. Everyone else, you, Crystal Palace and Newcastle, everyone else, it was the worst season.
Won a trophy. Give him that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good to be back. And I actually won a trophy this weekend as well. I was playing over in Holland in a charity game.
Nice.
So we've got clips if we need them later, but it's fine. Smash that like button. Today we are talking about the following. Florian Wirtz. And I was in Holland with some German lads, and they told me the true pronunciation correctly for this fella is Florian Wirtz.
Florian Wirtz. I call it Wirtz.
Wirtz, expect the worst.
Yeah.
Expect the worst when it comes to pronouncing that. He's expected to arrive in Liverpool this week. Also going to be talking about Sesko to Arsenal, Gyokres snubbing, allegedly, Manchester United. Manchester United also want Hugo Ekitike. I have to do that in a Scouse accent, that one. It just rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Spurs looking at Jared Branthwaite.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it before, weren't we? West Ham potentially looking at Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That shows where they are at the minute. Yeah. Also, an update on the Mbeumo transfer, and Garnacho wanting to stay in the Premier League after manager Ruben Amorim said, "You better pray that someone finds you and takes you and pays for you." Honest as ever, Ruben.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. Get your comments in. Right? Who do you support? Who is your team looking?
Who's
to
your
bring
transfer targets? That's what.
Who's your transfer targets? Who would you like to see coming in at your club? Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. This is the Transfer Show live at 5. We're doing it across the transfer window on DR Sports to make sure that you are covered at all times when it comes to transfer dealings. I'm
going to put a little thing in it. Live at 5.
Live at 5.
Transfer dealings.
And it's live.
And it's live.
It is live. So welcome all around the world. Let us know where you're watching from as well. We always like to know that. And don't forget, we're going to be back here at 7:30 with a Club World Cup watch along for you. Chelsea versus LAFC. Myself, Ty's on there. I think we've got Laurie as well. So if you're expecting an entertaining one, then hopefully we can deliver that to you at 7:30 for that game there. Right, let's start off with Florian Wirtz, Nicky, because just before we went live, you were telling me that you've seen him in the flesh. Obviously, you played 3 times against Leverkusen in the last couple of years, pre-season and obviously the quarter-final of the UEFA Europa League, which they went on to lose in the final in Dublin, a game I was at, and I've seen him in the flesh a couple of times as well. But you saw this graphic pop up on the screen. You were surprised with his age.
Yes, I was very surprised,
But you're not really surprised by the reported fee, which is, as we know now, £116 million. He, with Mo Salah, was one of the only top players in Europe to get double figures for both goal and assist. Is that reported fee that much of a surprise, considering the market and also your experience of watching the player?
No. I wasn't surprised at all. You go to these games, when you go to these European games, obviously, like, I think our class Leverkusen as a Champions League team. I remember getting to the final, and they've been in it for a few times. So when we played them, they was on an unbelievable run. And listen, I think Frimpong as well was brilliant that day. He scored the goal that knocked us out, basically. So, but yeah, I went over to Germany. I went and I see them at the London Stadium. But you know, you look at them players that are just a class above. You know, and when he glides around the pitch, he's brilliant in everything he does. One of them people that looks like you just can't touch him. You know, he's that good. So when I watched him a couple of times, I remember talking to a couple of the boys when we played them. I said they was on an unbelievable run. They went unbeaten that season. I think they went invincible. In terms of I think everything apart from that UEFA League final. I think that was the only game they didn't lose. We nearly beat them. They scored in the last minute,
which they did every game pretty much. In that season.
And they were late winners. But he was the catalyst of everything. Everything went through him, and I couldn't believe when I just read the graphic there that he's only 22. I didn't realise he was that young. He was that experienced. He's just one of them players that he's got an aura about him. So when I see him last year, I thought he's going to go to a top club, and for Liverpool to get him, I think it's unbelievable business. £160 million is a snip for a 22-year-old with that much ability. I think it's unbelievable.
Yeah. You mentioned the only game that they did lose that season. Like I said, I was at that game. They lost 3-0. I went to Anfield to watch us play them. We beat them 4-0. So my personal experience of watching him in the flesh isn't glittering. It isn't a raving report home. But I do agree with you. I've seen enough of him, in the flesh and online now to understand the type of player he is and almost how he would fit in at Liverpool. I know there's obviously competition for his place, but he does offer you something a little bit different in that furthest 8 position that Dominic Szoboszlai has been playing in for Liverpool this season. What does he offer you? Legs, energy. He can hit a ball. He doesn't do it enough, but he can hit a ball and it stays hit. And mainly the legs and the energy bit is what's kept him in the team, in the starting 11 for so long. It allows Gravenberch and McAllister to work them little channels just behind him, and he gets over and covers the right back. He's like a Duracell bunny. He runs up and down like you wouldn't believe.
I think the midfield.
So that's one option. But with Wirtz, him coming in, he almost, I look at him as like a mixture between a Thiago and a Coutinho. He can almost pick a pass out of anything. He scores, he assists.
Dictates the play.
There's not much to not like about him.
I'm telling you, mate. Liverpool's midfield was one of the best midfields in the country. Well, they was the best midfield in the country. Let's be fair. And I just think this adds another dimension to it because he is class. He is class. And £116 million. And I said it with Declan Rice, and Declan Rice was one of the best midfielders in the country. He's up there with him for me. He's quality, like top quality.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see him in a red shirt. I'm going to Hong Kong for pre-season, so I should see him against AC Milan. Nice. Which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, Florian Wirtz. He's due to arrive in the UK this week. David Ornstein tweeted yesterday that his arrival is expected maybe Thursday, medical Friday, and then obviously the transfer window is back open. At that stage, you can have the official contract signing. You can have him holding up the shirt. As things stand, the number 10 is taken by Alexis McAllister, and we saw, I don't know if you saw, but on his Instagram story, after I think a pretty much made up story from a journalist, he put that to bed and said, I didn't ask for the number 10, I respect the players in the 10. So he almost confirmed he's going to Liverpool before it even happened. Number 17 is what he wears for Germany. Curtis Jones has got that. And there's not many numbers free available. So, 27... Nunez had that. So that's a number that a lot of players like to wear.
What about, if he goes, number 9 may be available?
It probably will.
7?
Be available. 7, the 7 dog, Luis Diaz. So numbers available, 6, 12, 13, 15 and 16, 22, 24, 25, 27. But listen.
Do you know what? Should we make a bet?
Go on.
I bet he takes a 22. It's his age.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, I bet he takes a 22.
Good shout.
Well, we'll see next week.
66 is there if he wants that.
Well, yeah.
Out of those numbers, Liverpool fans, because this intrigues me, the shirt number stuff. I'm like a freak when it comes to shirt numbers. I did it at this game at the weekend. Always a good one for stag do's as well.
27, everyone. A lot of 27s.
A lot of people saying 27. The 6.
It's a good shout.
See, what you could do is give McAllister the 6 and then give Flo.
But McAllister's Argentinian.
10 means a lot.
10 means a lot to Argentina.
But he wears number 20 for Argentina, obviously, because Messi wears 10.
Yeah, because
you'd have to retire that number soon.
So you got Maradona, you got Messi now. 10 means a lot. I can't see him giving it up. That'd be a scrap and a half.
22 is a good shout.
I think 22. I'm going to say 22.
But do you know when clubs go, what number do you want? But then one of the people at the club gives him a little tap and goes, listen, he's getting off in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And he has played as a false 9 quite a lot for Leverkusen. I don't know, though. Because we are looking to get a number 9 as well to replace Nunez.
I wonder if Diaz could be convinced, because 7's a big number for Liverpool.
Diaz has already wore 23 though, so he's kind of
he's already
back up.
I got you. Yeah,
and the 7 at Liverpool is King Kenny as well, and Luis Suarez, so he wants that.
It's a big number.
I could see him taking a cheeky little 22. I like that idea. 27 as well. 15 and 16, they're kind of neither here or there.
Somebody said 6. That's a decent
but
number.
Then you'd have to give Maka the 6. and free up the 10 for Wirtz. But he's already said he's not going to do that.
An Argentinian ain't going to give up the 10. If he's got the 10, he's not going to give up the 10.
And it does matter. I'm a 4. I played at the weekend. I love the number 4 or a 6. But yeah, let us know in the chat. Does it even matter? But I think with Nunez leaving, 9 would be free. There's rumours that Jota might leave, so the 20's there. But we will see. But how impactful, if we sit here in a year, do we think this signing could be when we look back after all the hype, the fact that he chose Liverpool, right? Bayern were on the table. You verbally agreed with them. City pulled out. They went for a Shirky and obviously a much cheaper deal.
It's a big call because Bayern's everyone in Germany, if anyone's any good, if they're going to stay with a German club, they go to Germany. It's a safe bet. Yeah. So I like the balls of the kid is good. He's just seen Liverpool win the league. Obviously, they've won Champions Leagues before. Mate, I think he's going to make a big impact. I think he's going to be one of the signings of the summer, to be honest.
I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait to see him finally in a Liverpool shirt. 116 mil, 10 goals, 12 assists. And I think when you compare his position, or one of his positions that he can play, it would be to replace Dominic Szoboszlai in the starting 11, who I'm pretty sure didn't break the 10 goal mark. It's probably around about 5 maybe.
Yeah.
But I think when we signed Dominic Szoboszlai, he played off the left a lot for Leipzig. And he was cutting in. We've seen his free kicks for Hungary, right? They fly into the top bins almost every time. And I do think in a way that if he had scored maybe a few more, or pulled the trigger when maybe he passed the ball and he should be going for goal, then maybe there wouldn't be such a clamour to, I wouldn't say replace him, it just gives you a different option.
Yeah.
And Arne Slot, is quite famous actually for maybe not rotating a lot. It's an option, isn't it?
That is what you've got to do as defending champions. Yeah. People work you out. There's going to be people studying you now.
Exactly.
So you've got to add different options. So that's the way you defend.
Studying the pressing,
the way you play
of Dominic Szoboszlai, and now they're going to have to prepare for something else.
Exactly.
And in that 10, he's tricky. He actually won the most tackles in the final third in Germany. So he's a pressing machine.
He's a pressing player. Yeah.
So he gives you the press, but also add into it with goals and creativity and assists as well. So Liverpool fans, how excited are you to see Flo Wirtz arrive in the UK?
Quickly,
go on.
How do you feel about Robinson?
Robertson. Robertson. I'll talk about him. Robinson's
what did I say?
For Fulham.
I said Robertson.
No, you said Robinson.
Did I?
Yeah.
It's my Cockney accent.
Yeah,
You've got me right. Robertson, sorry.
Yeah, we spoke about this on Hot Topics this morning. We spoke about it on DR. If I was in his shoes, and I mean, it's no secret that Liverpool are going to get Gyokres as well, which directly affects his position. If I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, as I think he's just about to be 32, won it all at Liverpool, been one of the best ever pound for pound signings that Liverpool have gone in for, £8 million.
31 now. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah, 31. And yes, he had some really bad games this season. But what I don't want to do is jump on the bandwagon, he's cooked, he's finished. This generation.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen him play some brilliant wicked games where we've needed his experience, his last-ditch tackling. We've needed that energy up and down the left. Maybe he hasn't started every game this year, but I still think there's a massive place for Robertson to be a part of that squad and almost be that steward for Gyokres, who, let's not forget, when we bought in Robertson, for some reason, Klopp didn't chuck him in straight away. We were still knocking around with Alberto Moreno. We knew long-term that was never going to work, but we bled him in slowly but surely. And I think with Gyokres, Slot's looking to start him straight away. So I'm trying to put myself in Andy's shoes. Yeah, he's 31. Opportunity there to go to a team to get Champions League, maybe chuck in a title charge. I know when Kieran Trippier went there, it was kind of all doom and gloom. He won the league with Atletico. It was the last time they won it 5 years ago. I can see how he would thrive under a Simeone. I think Simeone would love that type of player. British bulldog, almost gets up and down, takes no shit. Bit of a shit house as well. A little bit, pardon my language. So I can see it for him, but as a selfish Liverpool fan, I'd love to keep him for a year because if you don't now keep him and he does go to Atleti, probably for around 10 mil, so we get back what we paid for him, then it means you've got to keep Tsimikas there. You've got to now give him probably a new deal as well. Or do you go out and buy 2 left backs now? I can't see us doing that.
It's a lot, isn't it? 2 left backs at the same time.
But from like detaching myself as a Liverpool fan who loves Andy Robertson's assists, he's got more assists than Paul Scholes, Hazard, Ozil in the Prem. Unbelievable numbers, most assists ever for a defender. Take that away, for him personally, could I see him could I see that being a great move for his career? Absolutely.
I remember watching him and Trent. They pretty much come through at the same time at Liverpool.
2017-18.
Yeah, so it must have been 17. I think we had your first game of the season. It was unbelievable. Both of them.
We beat you 4-0.
Yeah. That was unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh, mate, in that prime, from 2017 to, let's say, 2021, him and Trent, it was like a battle every week to see who could get the most assists.
Yeah, good numbers, man.
And do you know what? I'm not joking when I say this. If Andy Robertson had the left foot of John Arne Riise, genuinely, we'd be talking about one of the best left-backs ever.
Yeah.
And the best Premier League left back. Ashley Cole is the best Premier League left back, but I do think Andy Robertson's second best now with the 2 Prems, the most assists. Like on their day, I mean, ask Man City. The game where Andy Robertson really got into the Liverpool fans' hearts is when he chased from left back. He chased down passes all the way to the goalkeeper, and we got a corner. And that was like, this guy is non-stop. And he can't give you that in 2025.
But that's what you love, isn't it? That's what you love about players.
And he's been sent off against Fulham first 15 minutes of the season, got twist up by Saka. Occupational hazards, that happens. But I think it would be a mistake to let him go this season. But the other issue is there. He's going for free next year anyway.
That's the problem.
Unless he wants a new deal.
When they start to age, it really starts to show.
Yeah.
I remember Julian Dix was one of my favourite.
He played for Liverpool as well, didn't he?
Julian Dix was my favourite. I remember watching him towards the end of his career, and I remember, who was it? I think it was Keith Gillespie or someone like that.
Little whippersnapper at the time.
Danny Mills.
Danny Mills twisted him up.
Yeah, ruined him. And
Danny Mills did.
Danny Mills,
and he was nothing special.
He was. I think he was playing with. He's either Charlton or Leeds at the time. But that's when you looked at him. He's cooked. He's done. Mate, he's finished. You know what I mean? His knee was
left. Yeah. Where did he go after West Ham?
He didn't. Canvey Island.
Canvey Island. Had a little run out there and then called it a day.
He lives around the corner to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives around the corner to me. Yeah. I see him
He's a cult hero at West Ham. Isn't he? Yeah, cult hero.
Massive.
But yeah, on Andy Robertson, look, I can see him going. But from a selfish point of view, which I'm sorry, I'll always have that, because I'm a football fan. I love my team and I want the best for my team. So if that means from a selfish point of view we get another year out of him with maybe a year extension, 2-year extension, I'd prefer that. But from his point of view, I would wish him all the best if he went there.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one.
He wants to play football, I'm sure.
And listen, he's got the same agent as Trent. Probably have a few little gaffes they could go to together in Madrid.
Oh God, yeah.
Henderson's got the same agent as well.
I didn't even think about that. Both Madrid bound. Yeah.
Can you imagine against each other?
Yeah.
In the derby, they wouldn't be mates on that occasion.
Definitely not, mate.
But anyway, listen, I can see it happening, but I'd love him to stay. And I think if he does go, do Liverpool even try and replace him as well as get Gyokres? And the other one we're going to speak about later on is Konate. Only a year left on his deal, and Real Madrid and Marca are already turning the cogs and getting the old articles online to apply the pressure. That's what they do. That's what they're the best at. So we'll speak about that. Next up, Arsenal. We spoke about Benjamin Sesko on the Goodbye Bad Bye show last week, myself and Robbie. Listen, the goals this season haven't been turning up trees. It's 13 in 33, 5 assists, 4 in 8 in the Champions League. Good return there. And we know the price tag is around about the £65 million mark. Gyokres has obviously been an option as well. He's now snubbed United. Could he now come to the forefront for Arsenal fans? 39 goals in 33 games, but he's got 5 years on Sesko.
Yeah.
So try and put yourself in the shoes of an Arsenal fan. 2 options there available. Who'd you go for?
I don't know,
Tough one. Because Arsenal fans, this purchase of a centre forward would be to win the Premier League or win the Champions League.
Yeah.
So it's now. You need it now.
So who are you asking me? Sesko or
Gyokres?
It's got to be Gyokres. It's got to be Gyokres. The thing is with centre forwards, and listen, we've got an awful centre forward record buying centre forwards.
Dude, but I reckon it's the worst.
It's the worst position you can buy, because you can buy players, right? And you've seen it, and I've bigged up Nunez.
Do you want him?
But there's
60 mil.
I'd still have him. Not for 60 mil.
Yeah, no, that's our price.
But we did want him before he went.
He did.
But you could see the thing with strikers is this. You can have so much potential and fall short. It's happened to Darwin. It's happened to the kid at Man United. I watched the kid at Man United. Remind me of his name.
Xerxes.
No,
Højlund.
Yeah, against West Ham, and then in the final, and they was. Mate, they're lost.
Pants.
You know what I mean? And they're young kids, and they've got all this talent. Unless you get the right move and the right things around you, that talent, because you lose confidence as a striker. It happened to Werner at Chelsea. Werner at Red Bull was on fire. Couldn't touch him. He was light. He was electric. Couldn't miss. Goes to Chelsea.
Couldn't score.
And he's like that now. You know what I mean? Like, if you get that confidence sucked out of you, sometimes as a striker, it's really hard to get that back because you start doubting yourself, and you see it with all these strikers. You know, you need to be a Zlatan. You need a mentality of a god, really. To you know, especially in the Premier League, it's brutal. You know, So on the numbers, 13 goals in 33 games for Sesko, and 39 goals in 33 games for Gyokres.
I asked Robbie the other day, what does 39 goals translate as in the Prem? What do you think?
20?
He said 20, 25.
I'd say an easy 20.
Yeah.
13, maybe 4.
Yeah. You reckon?
Maybe.
Do you know what? It's interesting what you say there, because whichever striker they do bring in has to have that selfish mentality. And strikers, more often than not, the best strikers do have that. You know, Michael Owen was a selfish player, you know, back in the day. I look at recent examples, and maybe like a Bobby Firmino wasn't a selfish and was more the link man. But if you're coming in, right, with a big fee over your head, because it will be 70 to 100 for whoever they buy out of these two, you're coming in thinking, right, everyone around me here is waiting for me to score the goals for these fans to win the league. Can I deal with that pressure? If I don't have a purple patch straight away, is my confidence going to be shot? Am I going to get the right service? Is it going to fit my style of play that I've been successful with? With all due respect at Sporting Lisbon, which he's done brilliantly, won the league, you know, scored a hat-trick against Man City as an example. And that, have both of them got the capability to come in and be that main man instantly and hit the ground running?
But that's what they need
to win the Premier League.
That is what they need, because we've had two brilliant strikers at West Ham, two fantastic strikers, Haller and Scamacca. Yeah, brilliant strikers. Haller has scored goals wherever he's been. He's playing at Dortmund now. I don't know whether he still is. He might have moved on, but he's playing at Dortmund. Hit the ground running. Frankfurt, brilliant. Comes to West Ham, the style isn't right. He looked bereft. Yeah, Scamacca came. He tore you to pieces last year. Scamacca
did scored two
in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Atlanta. Yeah, he's but come to West Ham, couldn't hit the ground running. It's such a difficult decision, because all eyes are on you. You know what I mean? Like, you are the main man there. You know, when you're thinking about goals win titles. You know, a man that scores 30, 40, 50 goals in a season is a god.
Worth his weight in gold.
He's worth his weight in gold. Yeah, you don't find them. You know what I mean? So you've got to look at everything. When I look at the numbers for Sesko, is he going to be any better than Kai Havertz? Probably not. You know what I mean?
And if Kai Havertz wasn't injured for so much this year, I sound like an Arsenal fan myself.
I think they might have won it.
If he wasn't injured so much, I wouldn't say won it. I would have said
they would have come closer.
Because no Arsenal player got into double figures for goals in the Prem.
Yeah.
So if Havertz was around, no matter what people say about Havertz, he gets you 17 goals in all comps a season.
When you look at Havertz, when he got injured, and Saka was a big one as well. You had that Liverpool had that little point where they wobbled.
Yeah,
a couple of losses and a wobble. If they'd have been closer, Arsenal, I think it would have been a bit tighter. But you know, that is where you've got to have one of these top. You need to have. Do you know what you need? And they've proven it. And Højlund, and then Alvarez underneath. That's what you need. That level of striker and backup.
Yeah,
to win.
Oh, I'd love an Alvarez at Liverpool. I'll tell you what, he would just complete the job.
But when you look at, you know, when they sold Alvarez, they got good money for him. Good money
80
for
mil.
him. But
who did they replace him? They've gone with the Marmouche kind of false 9-10. They've obviously got Shirky as well.
But they didn't have anyone at the beginning. And
that's what cost them.
Yeah,
because Haaland went through a patch. I think they went 13. 1 in 13, wasn't it?
It was something like that.
Do you know what? Who would have ever predicted that? I had City. I think I had Arsenal to win the league last season and City to finish third. So
yeah,
maybe I did predict it a little bit, but not to that extent. But Sesko and Gyokres. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd go all in for Gyokres. And yes, it's a calculated risk. That's the same risk we took for Darwin Nunez. I think he scored 34. But it's worth the risk, in my opinion, or it's time for the risk. You have to roll the dice. there is no much. You're not going to get much more time than this season for Arteta to actually win it now. So take the risk. The big clubs take the risk.
It's going to be
put the money down and get Gyokres, who is ready and primed at 27 and not 22.
It's going to be big money, no matter what one it is. It's going to be big money. I wonder, because I think he's got a little bit of a. He's got a bit of a record for doing it. I wonder if he wants to take another reject and sort of. Kai Havertz was a reject at Chelsea. Let's be honest.
He's got Kepa as well.
Kepa, yeah. I wonder if he might want to do that with a striker. Take someone who's not quite there.
But you'd have to bring in a Gyokres, secure that, and then bring in a gamble player as well. I don't think they're going to go
both.
Who could? I know what you mean. You almost want to take one from the pile.
Took like Højlund or something.
Nah,
I'm telling you,
Arsenal.
I'm not saying Højlund, but I'm just saying a Højlund, Nunez, and Kai Havertz was a reject. They hated him at Chelsea.
They did score the winner in the Champions League final for them.
Yeah, but that was about it.
That's pretty much it. But you get that's folklore instantly if you do that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Arsenal fans, Sesko or Gyokres, I'm tired of asking it now because it's been such a hot topic of conversation from when he started smashing in all these goals. I saw him play for Coventry in the playoff final against Luton.
Someone's just said here, Jonathan David.
Very good. Jonathan David's another one who, again, has been linked so many years in a row now. And again, I saw him. He scored at the Anfield Road end in the Champions League against us last year. I thought he was tidy. But again, he's 28 though.
He is 28.
So it's like
I have heard
29
that he's met with Potter.
Jonathan David. Right. Okay. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to West Ham. I promise you.
I don't think nothing's going to come of it because we are trash, mate.
We'll get to that. Who is the best fit for Arsenal? We just asked you in the live poll. So far, it's 51% Gyokres, 49% Sesko. This one really does split opinion, and I think whoever they do eventually bring in. This is a player that they've needed for probably 3 or 4 transfer windows in a row. An out-and-out number 9 striker.
Jonathan David's 25.
Is he 25?
He is 25.
I got that well wrong. Well off it. So again, could you go for him? Who knows? Big up to Mark Arthur C. Phillips, who is a gold level member. Shout out to you. You've done the right thing. You're a member now. Phillips. You're one of us. Valentin Atagana to West Ham. Rumour. Says Prince Brandon. We'll look that one up. But
I've never heard of it.
Well, neither have I. Just on Gyokres, because we know that Manchester United are in the market for a striker. They have brought in Matheus Cunha, who I would say is more of a 10. And he has taken the number 10 at Old Trafford as well. So that means Højlund's going to have to go. Xerxes probably does cling on, but they do need that out-and-out striker. They've obviously gone in for Mbeumo. It looks like he wants them. But obviously Tottenham have thrown a big spanner in the works, chucking 70 mil down. And it's Thomas Frank as well. And it's guaranteed Champions League football as well. So it is a proposition that he can't just straight away turn it down. He wants United, but Gyokres has turned down United here, from what we can see. Are they running out of options? Because we have got it on, good record here that the United camp made contact with Hugo Ekitike, who's 22, plays for Frankfurt. You would have seen him last year. Or the year before against West Ham. 15 goals in 33 games, 4 goals, 3 assists in 12 appearances in the Europa League. It's looking like it's going to be 100 million euros. He's still got 4 years on his deal.
Yeah.
So if you're Manchester United, I know you're not. You're the proper United.
Thank you.
No problem at all. What would you want? Who would you go for? And what kind of style with those players that they're thinking of could Manchester United employ next season?
I'll be honest. I ain't got a clue. I can't see the pattern. I just think it's chuck money at whatever and see what sticks. I can't see. Cunha's a good player, but there's a lot at United, a lot that needs sorting out. That final was a disgrace. Both teams, to be honest with you, they was both disgraceful in the final. Both
pretty
of them.
Much.
And like there's just so much that needs sorting out there. They need to sort out so much stuff. But they are. I mean, the forward is a great place to start. But don't buy a Ferrari body before you got the engine.
And they did that last year.
And they done that last year, yeah.
Højlund.
You know what I mean? Like their midfield is a shambles. It's a shambles. They need to sort the engine out before they start doing the bodywork. And that for me is what they're doing. They're looking for the Ferraris and the McLaren bodies, but they've got a fucking Ford Fiesta engine. Sorry for the language. Sorry.
Skoda.
You know what I mean. So sort the other stuff out for. I think when you build a side like that, and this is hammering for you. I mean, I think the guy's crackers. I've seen him climbing up gates to watch training and that. You know, I mean, it's mad what he's doing.
No ladder, just straight.
No,
raw dug in the old
the
fence,
like the chain link fences. He's like they're watching it. He's watching them train, and he's climbing up the fence to watch them train.
Bit much that, isn't it?
It's just a lot. You know what I mean? And I just think there's no rhyme or reason to it. I just think, honestly, the great players, but look at Jadon Sancho, look at Anthony, look at Di Maria Falcao,
Sanchez.
Now Højlund. They bring these players in. Casemiro even.
Ugarte even.
What's his name?
De Ligt.
The centre back.
Euro.
Varane.
Oh God.
They just get these players in, and within a couple of months they've gone to pot.
But that's the people making the decisions at the top who are deciding which players to bring in. They're just.
I think Mbeumo would be a safe transfer, but I don't know. I think a player like Ekitike in Man United, it's hit or miss. It could be brilliant, but he could flop massively.
It's just a bit of a
it's 100 million euros.
Graveyard for football.
Yeah.
And if you're
I wouldn't go there.
If you're Gyokres, why have you turned down United, and where do you want to go?
Because it's a shambles.
Well,
I think you look at the
no
league.
Europe as well. He's not going to go from Champions League Sporting Lisbon to no Europe.
I think when you look at it now, obviously they're a huge pool. They've still got a name. They've got a huge name in football. But when you look at it now, who's going to seriously? I mean, a serious player is going to look at it and go, "I can get them back to the top."
Poison chalice.
And
if you do try and do it and you fail, your stock is well down.
Your stock is down, and that is the problem. You know what I mean? Like, and Mbeumo, I don't think he's going to get a better chance at a big move. You know, I think someone may take him. I think Tottenham may take him, but are Tottenham realistically going to be in the Champions League next year? Maybe not. Probably not.
You
know, Man United, are they going to be in the Champions League next year? They've got a better chance, I think, than Tottenham. But even still, I can't see it. I'd be surprised if they don't go down the way it was ended the season. Honestly,
let's see what happens. I'd love it.
You know, it is. You know, it's a poison. It's getting to the point where who's going to go there? You know, who will make the difference? I don't know.
And so, where are you going if you're Gyokres?
Not Man United.
Where do you end up?
I think he'll end up at Arsenal.
So where does Sesko then end up?
Staying where he is. I don't know.
Where does Ekitike end up?
Staying where he is.
Not at Liverpool.
Maybe.
If we chuck our hat in the ring.
It depends.
100 mil though. But
it's 100 million euros.
Sell Darwin Nunez for 60 odd. Yeah, there's a few others that you can chuck in as well.
That's the plan, but it's just, it doesn't always go to plan.
Is there a world? Because again, I saw an article today. I think it was Paul Gorst or James Pearce. I'll have to clarify that, so I don't want to get the person wrong. But I didn't read the article. Typical online, you see the headline and it said Liverpool give him another year. Is there a world where Liverpool actually do that? I can't see it personally.
They do it.
I think the patience is gone, but also if you carry on going down that road of trying to uncover the gem, really polish that stone, he could be worth 20 mil next season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a tricky one because you've got to find someone who wants him. I think Napoli and AC Milan have made direct contact now. They're up for it.
Well, that's
is
always
it an
a
option
risk
to keep him? Because we're actually trying to buy someone that we thought Darwin Nunez would be, but we have Darwin Nunez.
Yeah.
So you're going back into the market again and
I still think there's someone in.
And I totally agree with you.
I still think there's a player there. Again, maybe this season a system comes to fit him. Maybe he slots in.
I think Napoli would fit him.
Maybe it clicks somewhere.
I think McTominay slotting him in through the channels.
Napoli are brilliant.
Lines. Yeah,
they are brilliant. Yeah, really.
And they've got Lukaku, obviously. And AC Milan, could he go there? Potentially. If he did, his first game would be against Liverpool in pre-season, which would be crazy.
Yeah, I've got a comment here, ADT. It's very simple. Man United have changed internally. This is from Doro Hedero.
Right.
So you can spin your own stories, negative about Man United, but we will sign good players and we will come back. It's not rocket science. I've been hearing that for 6 years.
10 years I've heard that.
For 10 years, 10. But for 6 on this channel, or is it 5? I've been hearing the same things every season. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop talking nonsense. And again, every season, a couple of pegs down. You finished below us, and we were bad.
That's an achievement.
That is an achievement. Jesus. And you lost to us twice. That is an achievement.
Their biggest result was that 2-2 draw, or the 2-2 win, I should say, at Anfield.
Yeah, honestly, that is some achievement. You got to a final and lost it to Tottenham,
and that's another achievement as well. Wow,
but yeah.
Somebody,
Mikey just said, Man United are rudderless.
And Thomas says the ramblings of two middle-aged men whose childhood was ruined by the biggest teams in Europe.
You can call me a middle-aged man. Come on, man.
Only 31, mate. Lay off me, Tom. He said, hated, adored, never ignored. I mean, if that's the title you want, hated, ignored, then have that.
You might as well be
I'd rather be a Premier League champion. That's what Millwall say. That's what Millwall say.
No one likes us.
Is that all you've got now? Everyone hates us so much. Is that it? Is that your trophy?
Yeah.
But it's going to take more than a striker to get them out of the position that they're in right now. I'm telling you that. But yeah, listen, Hugo Ekitike.
Cheers to the $5 for that. Anyway.
Yeah, big up, mate.
We'll have a drink tonight.
United have made contact with Hugo's people. I did read a quote last week from the Frankfurt director of football who said, "Look, we don't have to sell him. And if we do, it's 100. You better come correct." And yeah, I've seen glimpses. Listen, 15 in 33 is decent. 4 in 12 in the Europa is decent. 100 mil, I think that's well wide of the mark. I saw his goal against Tottenham in the semi-final, first leg, second leg, ghost.
Yeah.
In the big games, you'd think, right, put yourself in the window here.
For £100 million, that's what you want.
Get yourself in that window.
And Frankfurt are a good side.
I'll be honest.
Not as good as when we played them, of course. But
of course not, right? Because, that was Oliver Glasner when you played them, wasn't it? When he was the manager there. He had them bopping it around. He won a big trophy with them. But, yeah, I mean, it always puts me off a little bit when... a signing that we could go for has a little chat with United. He'll probably end up snubbing them because, again, no Europe. He's used to playing in Europe.
It does make a difference. Although, listen, all jokes aside, they have got a big name.
Oh, no, of course.
They can
we spoke about it on the show last week, the pool that still exists.
Yeah, of course. They're the biggest club in the world.
How many years does that run before it kind of runs out? But they have the conversations with these top players. But then some sign, some don't sign. But if, I'm asking Liverpool fans here now, if he obviously has these chats with United and they don't end well, would Liverpool, not that we're going in for their sloppy seconds, I've heard for months and pretty much the whole season this name and it being linked with Liverpool. As soon as Darwin Nunez went out of form, the Ekitike name starts coming around. I've done a video on him last season as well, so he's been linked for a while. But if Liverpool almost put their cards on the table and say, would you be interested in coming to Liverpool, that changes everything for him. And maybe you could make up that 100 million euros with 60 million euros from Darwin Nunez plus a couple others. But Liverpool fans, would you be interested in Hugo Ekitike? I think if you asked any Liverpool fan, the ideal scenario would probably be Isaac, Alvarez, and then maybe Ekitike.
He's got to be the top.
But the realistic one is probably reversed. It's probably Ekitike, most likely. So let us know, would you like him at Liverpool? Similar kind of profile to Nunez, very quick, wiry, a nuisance, good finisher. Maybe that's the bit where he's a bit different from Nunez at the minute. But there's still a player there, 22 years old. So let us know, Liverpool fans, Hugo Ekitike, you can see him on the screen there. Would you like him at Anfield in the summer? Let us know. Contract still got 4 years, so there you go. Let's stay on Manchester United. Garnacho. 6 goals in the season, 36 appearances, 2 assists. You would have thought after his kind of breakout season, you'd probably say his breakout season was 2 years ago now. He still hasn't really kicked on to that other level. Chelsea and Napoli linked with moves for Garnacho in January, as we know, but it's Chelsea who are tipped to circle back this summer after deciding not to make Jadon Sancho's loan move permanent. They are in the market for a winger. Staying in the top flight of English football is his priority. They have had offers already, as we've said, from Chelsea, Villa, Tottenham. They're all in pursuit of him. But it's not going to help his transfer fee and the maximum fee that United could get when Ruben Amorim has been open and said stuff to him like, you better pray that someone pays the money for you and buys you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the market for Garnacho and you see that, you might think, well, why? What's wrong with his attitude? What's he done? Do we want to invest 40 mil? Because that's the asking price. We've heard of Napoli as well. If you're Garnacho, where do you want to go?
No?
Well, 70 mil asking price, but I think Chelsea bid 40 mil last season, which was rejected. So that's almost doubled. But if you're Garnacho, where do you want to move? And then the second question I've got for you is, where will he end up, realistically?
I think he'll go to Chelsea.
You reckon?
I reckon he'll go to
it.
Chelsea. Yeah, I think Sancho will go back to United. He'll go back to Chelsea. But this is
good enough.
I think when you look at his attitude's obviously been questioned because when Amorim came in, it was him and Rashford were the two glaring omissions.
Troublemakers.
Well, they was the ones that was left out the squads. You know, all the focus was on Rashford, obviously, because Rashford's a Man United boy. He's been a top star. He was a breakout star and England player and all that. But when you think about who was, he did come back in the side quicker than Rashford, but he was another glaring omission from the squads. It was him and Rashford. So there's obviously a problem there. There's obviously an issue there. For a manager to turn around and say you better hope and pray someone comes in, that's pretty much saying, I'm going to make you suffer if you have to stay.
That's
here.
bomb squad chat, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's your training with the reserves.
I think that's awful, to be honest with you, as a man management. I don't think that sort of thing helps the morale of the squad.
No.
Because at the end of the day, you got to think he's still a kid and he's still got friends. You know what I mean? And if someone turns around and says to your friend, you better hope and pray someone comes into you because I want to make your life a misery if you come back here next year. And then you're hearing that about your friend, you're thinking, oh God, like, you know, what sort of geezer is this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it does, you know, I just don't think they do themselves any favours.
It's not the first time he's come out and been a little bit too honest.
Too honest, yeah. And you can
Worst
be too
United
honest.
team in history.
I think, in terms of football, and what's going on with football, I think you should be honest as a manager. I think you know, when you look at clubs that are totally like, they're on their arse. Yeah, and the managers come out and go, no, it's fine. We know what's going on.
That can work the other way.
Yeah, and I think to myself, nah, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that pay money to come and see you. At least be honest with the fans, right? But when you've got internal matters like this, you know, every club has internal matters, right? Everyone. You get a couple of these big headlines. You know, I remember Isle Berkovic getting kicked in the head by Artson back in
training,
right? And that was a massive thing. There was cameras
proper
there.
Volleyed him, didn't he?
That was a nasty kick.
In the pony boots.
But that sort of thing happens on a training ground every single day.
Well, not volleying in the face. I think that's a bit extreme.
I think you'll be surprised.
Volleying in the face every day. Come on.
No, I'm not. But I'm just saying.
No, fallouts happen every day.
Scraps.
I agree
there are.
Tensions rise in
tensions
training.
rise against everyone. You know, all your favourite players. In a ideal world, they'll all get on, they'll all go out, but they don't. You know what I mean? There's going to be players that don't like players. There's going to be players that got history with other players. You know, in an ideal world, they don't. Yeah, and they do, but they don't. Yeah. So when you get to things like that, the fallouts and that, bringing it out. It doesn't do the club any favours because now they're
trying to sell him, mate. Don't say that.
We're trying to sell him, and you're basically turning around and saying he's a pile of crap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And we don't want him. Like, you know, it's got to be the worst sales technique ever. And if I was the men upstairs, I'd start looking at it and thinking to yourself, like, I'd be looking to get rid now. You know what I mean? Because that's not the first time. Jadon Sancho had done it too. Yeah. Rashford has done it too. Rashford's got to go back there now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
His tail between his legs, with his tail between to get sold legs. Himself.
Yeah, so how is that? But these are three massive assets that they've paid a lot of money for. Rashford not so much because they bought him for. Yeah. And now he's basically like sort of.
Would you take him at West Ham?
Yeah, what, Garnacho? Yeah, I would. It's exciting.
70 mil?
Nah. No, we ain't got 70 pence, let alone 70 mil. But I would.
Well, how are you going to loan?
I would take him
if it came to it.
Yeah, I would take him on loan. Yeah. Absolutely.
Would you take Jack Grealish on loan?
Yes.
You would?
Yes. Oh, fucking
we'll get on to West Ham. Don't worry, I've got a lot of questions for you there. So let us know in the chat, where does Garnacho end up? You know, a lot of promise as he scored that overhead kick goal a couple of seasons ago. It's kind of fizzled out a little bit. Attitude problems. I've seen him in the pre-season tour, the post-season tour that United did, giving it the old middle finger to fans out there. He's been hung out to dry, obviously, there by Ruben Amorim. So £70 million, who's in for him and where will he actually end up? It's two separate questions, I think, for this one. Just the last one on United, and Mbeumo, as we know, reportedly wants the move despite the interest from Tottenham. Apparently Onana is said to have played a role in swaying him to Old Trafford. I mean, he might be. Well, at least he's done something. He might be going himself, so I'm not sure if that's the man to trust. But contract expires next year. 60 million is obviously the United and Tottenham offer. 20 goals in 38 appearances played every single game. So if you do go in for him, you know that's a player that you're getting your money's worth in terms of appearances. 8 assists as well. I mean, if you were him, and you've got Thomas Frank on the phone, who you've just had the most glorious season with on a personal level, obviously got a great relationship with him, you probably wouldn't have to move house.
No.
And you could join him at Tottenham, obviously a brand new stadium. You know, it's a new era at Tottenham under Frank. He could be the face of it. They've got Champions League football. But again, that pull, especially, you know, when you consider maybe who he supported when he was younger, the name, Manchester United are there. So who would you go with? I mean, it's a similar question I just asked you for Ekitike.
Yeah, I would go to Tottenham.
Yeah.
I would go to Tottenham. I think in terms of appreciation, I think it'd be appreciated more at Tottenham. You know, Man United fans have got a bit of a record of bringing in players, and you know they've seen some fantastic play. I mean, they've seen the likes of Best, Ronaldo, and you know, listen, you can name a million players that played for Man United who are fantastic. Giggs, Beckham, you know, all of them players. So you get a player like that who's not quite the massive name, they could go and appreciate. But I think at Tottenham, I think he'd do well. I think he'd score on goals. I think he'd fit in. I think he'd be a perfect replacement for someone like Richarlison, who I think could end up moving on this summer.
I think he's bound to go back to Everton.
Yeah. And
sure.
I think he'd be a perfect replacement there. He'd play, he'd fit in. He's going to play Champions League football. You know, I don't think he's going to. If he's got any ambition to play in Europe, he's not going to get there with Man United.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed pretty set on, didn't it, last week when we saw the rumours flying around, circling. If I'm him, I'm going Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
I am.
They're a more attractive club, although they did finish below Man United.
Yeah, I mean, is it an anomaly for Tottenham to finish that low? I'd say it is. But I think one phone call with Thomas Frank should do the trick.
Yeah. If he's got the confidence in the manager, if they've got on well, I think he'll end up at Tottenham.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
And Kulusevski started off well, but injury prone towards the second half of the season. He does get you off your feet. I've watched him, you know, I've been to Brentford twice in 2 years, and he's the one player. I know Wirtz is so slippery as well, and they've got identical records, 19 and 20. But Mbeumo, he's so tricky. You almost know what he's going to do, but he's so strong as well. He's low centre of gravity, but you can't stop him.
Yeah.
He definitely gets you off your seat.
Yeah. Good player.
And as a rival to him on that day, it got me off my seat in a bad way, thinking, shit, what's he going to do now? So if I was him, I'm choosing Tottenham.
Yeah, I would.
25, it's a good age. 20 goals in the Prem.
People saying we just hate United.
We're just
5 minutes ago. He's telling us we all hate you.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you wanted to be hated.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, make your mind up. But it's more like we're trying to put ourselves in the shoes of the player. We've got our opinions, but let's try and put our shoes realistically.
Listen,
without bias, put us in the shoes.
I think you've got. This is why Man United. This is why a lot of people don't like Man United, because they can't be honest. You've got to look at what's in front of you and be honest. I'm honest. You know, we're rubbish. I support a rubbish football team. They are rubbish.
No, you support a great football team.
A great football club.
Season.
Bad football team.
Yeah.
And that's what you got. You've got to start looking what's in front of you. I know you've had all them glory years, but you've got to admit the glory years are coming to an end, and they're not coming back for a while. So just be honest with yourself. There we go.
There you go. Be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
A lesson in honesty from Nicky Hawkins there.
Yeah. Look after yourself and each other.
Yeah, love each other. Be kind, most important.
Be kind, yeah.
But we have asked you in the chat, and Mbeumo, where does he end up? Is it Spurs or Manchester United? And actually, I don't even think Tottenham were in the race until United threw their hat in, and then it made them step up themselves and go, actually, we didn't know you were going to do this, we'll put our hat in the ring as well. So let's see where he ends up. Manchester United or Tottenham Hotspur, the current UEFA Europa League champions. Let us know in the chat. Spurs, Branthwaite, whilst we're on Spurs, they're weighing up an option and an approach for Everton defender Jared Branthwaite. 2 years left on his deal. It was a £70 million minimum asking price. There were even rumours last year that he'd go to United for 80 mil. It hasn't been the best season since those rumours kind of surfaced. Contract expires in 2027, allowing you to almost get the absolute maximum for him. Obviously a good player, has played a lot for the under-21s at England level. Is he the man that Tottenham need? It looks like Romero could potentially be on his way to Atletico Madrid.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
But they've got the money.
But they've been burned with defenders.
They have.
What was the right back that they bought from them?
Emerson Royale, Pedro Porro.
No.
Oh, from where?
From Everton, wasn't it?
Tottenham from Everton.
Who did they buy? 50 million quid.
Oh my God, I'm having a mind blank.
Jesus. No, from Wolves it was. Who was it?
Doherty.
Doherty. Yeah, they've had their hands burnt. It's a lot of money for defenders. A lot of money for defenders. I don't. Do you know what? I look at these defenders' prices now, and I
so
can't.
Inflated, aren't they?
70 million.
I mean, if he's worth 70 mil, genuinely, Jarrell Krantz's worth 80. If we're doing that,
Yeah,
Jarrell Krantz, I want 50 for him.
70 million for the. I think it's crazy. I think when I look at them prices, we got one Pizzaka for a fraction of the price he should have been because he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether they get him. I think they need a forward before they need a defender.
Well,
they both.
They get Mbeumo.
They need both. Yeah,
but 30 games this season. Obviously, Everton did stay up. 22 years of age. We know he's a big lad. He scored a goal against Liverpool last season. But it's the kind of thing where if an offer like that comes up, you must sell instantly because 2 years left on his deal, he could potentially hang that out.
It's going to be a little bit of a rebuild at Everton, though.
Yeah, I actually said today, I won't ruin it, but I had a hot take that they might pick up some silverware next year.
I don't think they're going to pick up silverware, but I think they'll be comfortable in the league.
Yeah,
comfortable. Yeah,
new stadium bounce.
Yeah, well, I did say maybe they go down, but I like the look of the players, the sort of players they're looking at. It looks like they're getting rid of. They're actually getting some sort of identity. Yeah. They know where they're going. That's Moyes for you. Moyes will bring you that. I don't think he'll last there though, but there we go. 70 mil, Tottenham fans in the chat. Do you think he's worth it, first of all? And do you think that is someone that realistically Tottenham go for, considering the price? Because it looks like they might lose Christian Romero. Cuti or Romero, as they call him. So let us know on that one. Jared Branthwaite, 70 mil, is he worth it? Just on Liverpool, Adrian Truffert, the left back at Rennes last season, is expected to go to Bournemouth. 23-year-old left back from Belgium, looking like it might pave the way finally there for Milos Gyokres to join Liverpool. It's a 14.3 million deal. 2 goals, 2 assists last season for Rennes. But this is what the teams like Bournemouth, like Brighton, they when it comes down to it, they are a selling club, whether they like that or not. That's the harsh reality of it. Money makes the world go round, and they will take delight in getting, that's going to be around 40 million for Gyokres and replacing him with a promising 23-year-old who's obviously got decent experience in Liga. Yeah. Yep.
10 million could rise to 14.3. And what day is it announced that Gyokres comes to Liverpool? I'm not sure. Did you see his brother put up a post with him yesterday saying he's the new Liverpool player? It's the worst kept secret. We know he's coming.
Well, it's
and maybe with the Robertson rumours as well. This is
you got to read between the lines. They're buying a left back.
Yeah.
Read between the lines, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to buy a left back. They've got one of the best, probably the best left back in the league last year, and they're buying a left back. It's not a secret anymore, is it? He's going. He's leaving.
Yeah. And Bournemouth, have they found another gem there? Who knows? We'll find out, I guess.
We'll find out, yeah.
Time will tell.
That's
on that
the thing
one.
with gems. You never know till
you never know. Oh, it's a good shot. Very good shot. Right, let's go on to West Ham then, before we wrap up the show.
No, let's just wrap it.
We got to talk about your team. I can't have you in the studio and not talk about the old Irons, the Claret and Blues. I actually played a 8-a-side football game on the Bobby Moore Academy.
Yeah.
Lovely backdrop to a football game of the canal on one side, which I put a couple of Sondicos in, and then on the right was the London Stadium.
Where is it?
It was near the Aquatics. Just
from there. I know the one.
Great backdrop. Yeah. I really liked it. But anyway, that was brilliant. What isn't brilliant is West Ham's league performance this season, but try and break it down. Let's go keyhole surgery. What's the priority for West Ham? What's maybe the near future you need to sort?
Is the top priority.
Give me the 3 players, the 3 positions that West Ham need to cover.
Centre back, 2 centre midfielders.
Wow.
And a centre forward.
So there's 4.
There's 4. You've got to have 4.
And you've got no money.
And we've got no money. I think Kudus and Paquetá will leave. I think they're nailed on to leave, yeah. I think Kudus is definitely going to leave. They want a goalkeeper. Areola was a little bit dodgy last year. Wasn't as good as he's normally been. But I think that's just because there was such a shaky defence in front of him. Wan-Bissaka's brilliant. Wan-Bissaka is brilliant. He stays in the right back position. I think Kilman can be a good player. I think Todibo can be a good player. But I think they need another one as solid as that, because they had a guy last season, the guy that used to play for Arsenal, Mavropanos. He's one of the worst defenders I've ever seen, ever. And
he got twisted up by Salah.
Oh, he gets twisted. I think you and me twist him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's bad. And the midfield's too slow. We've got one of the oldest sides in the league. We've let a lot of players go as well. We've had players like Aaron Cresswell leave, who started playing centre-back towards the end of the season when we started playing a 5.
Where's he going to go?
He's gone. He's been released. I think he's going to go back to Ipswich. It makes sense, I think, to him. It's a bit of a mess there at the minute. But I want to see a rebuild. I was just happy to see the season finish because it was that bad. I got to the end of it. I go to more or less every game. I travel around the country every week, and it's getting to the end of it where towards the end I couldn't get out of bed. I was struggling to get out of bed to think, oh God, I've got to go and watch that.
That wasn't just your hangover as well.
No, that was
just because you didn't want to watch it.
I just didn't want to watch it. No, and but I am quite positive. If we get the money in? But they're already making noises. The owners need to go, man. The owners need to go. They're already making noises, and we ain't got no money. I don't see how we haven't got any money. We don't even own a stadium.
True.
We pay rent. You know what I mean? We ain't got a mortgage. We pay rent. I don't see. Honestly, someone said I had nothing left. That's right.
So
Ian Bill stuff.
I've got nothing left. So break it down. A goalkeeper.
I don't think a goalkeeper.
No? Okay.
I think a top defender.
Where are you getting them from? Gerald Kranzer, 50 mil?
Yeah.
Fancy it?
No, I can't see us spending that money on him. I don't think we get 75 mil for Kudus max.
Off who?
Chelsea. I think Chelsea would pay it. But yeah, I don't know. We're not paying no £50 million for no defenders, that's for sure, because we need 2 strong midfield. We've got to rely on Macaulay going out, which is Macaulay's Potter's sort of scout, and going out and find a Casado or a McAllister or something like they used to do at Brighton. Well, that's the only hope we've got. We've got a couple of young kids I think could come in. We've got a kid called George Urphy, who is excellent, and we've got Potts, Freddie Potts, who's
proper West Ham names there.
Well, Potts' dad played for West Ham.
Okay,
but in midfield,
this isn't Dan Potts, is it?
No,
the Arsenal fan. No.
Definitely ain't him. But we've got Pottsy in the midfield comeback. He's been player of the year twice. He's been out on loan twice. Very much, okay. I think he could bring that sort of Declan Rice energy back. I know we keep on reverting back to him, but we've missed him. We haven't replaced him. We haven't got that sort of energy. The midfield energy is gone.
No legs.
No. But and then we've got to find a centre forward. Antonio could be off. He's rejected a contract, apparently.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that was a bit snaky from him as well. I like Mickey, but I think we've paid him for a year while he's been in hospital. Had a car crash. God rest his soul, but die. God bless him. You know what I mean? And I wish him all the work.
It's probably just time to move on, though, isn't it? He's been there.
Yeah, but long. They've offered him a contract, and he's turning around and going, I've done that. But it took a year's wages. Well, he's on £100,000 a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah, I think West Ham, they do need to look at themselves in the mirror and go, right, let's start from scratch. We tried a few experiments last season. The Soler thing didn't really work. He's gone back to, was it Valencia?
PSG.
Was it PSG?
PSG, yeah.
There's been a few experiments. The Fulkrug thing hasn't really worked out. The shining lights are obviously Paquetá and Kudus. Try and recoup as much as you can for them to and almost start from scratch and rebuild again.
Yeah.
Because listen, if he dies on his sword after 6 games into the season, was there any point in even keeping him?
Yeah, no, I agree.
They have to back him.
No, but
up to a certain point, you go, well, look, we can't back you anymore because we need to see how you get on.
I don't think Kudus and Paquetá stay at all.
Yeah,
I can't see how they stay. I can't see it. Personally, I wouldn't want them to see him stay. They was that bad. I don't think Paquetá made 1 assist.
Wow.
Brazil's number 10.
It's not good enough, that.
Not good enough.
Not at all. Right, well, West Ham, they've obviously got a lot of work to do, but if you want to find out about how West Ham are going about doing that work,
and if you want to see how
make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe to the channel and I'll give you some updates.
Exactly. So make sure you smash that subscribe button on West Ham Fan TV, the only place to get your West Ham news.
Go and see the video that I just put up, why we need Jack Grealish.
Ooh. Okay, well, to tell us a little bit about that, because like you said, in the pool of discarded talent who are maybe seeing the end of their contracts roll out. There's a Jack Grealish there. You could even go for Raheem Sterling. You could go. Who else did we mention there?
Not Sterling. Who did we mention?
There's a few players like that.
There is a couple. There is a couple that have been really. Sancho's, yeah, he's up there. Garnacho could be one, but I put a video up why we need Jack Grealish, because it's exciting. We love that type of player. We love the Canyons. We love the Devonshire's.
I could see him doing well at West Ham.
He'd be
loved.
God,
if he gets
he'd be God at West Ham, because as long as he puts his effort in, as long as he shows us a bit of it, and he's got the ability to get people off their feet, that is why. We go and watch the video, you see.
Go and watch that video on West Ham Fan TV.
It's not long.
Nicky reveals all, right, while she's making a cup of tea. Right, Manchester United and Mbeumo, does he go? 52% of you say yes, 47% of you say he goes to Spurs. Let us know as that continues in the comments, I'm sure. But this has been your transfer show, live at 5 on DR Sports with myself, AGT, and the one and only Nicky Hawkins.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm sure I'll be back.
I'm sure you will be. It'll be a pleasure. Don't forget, we're back in an hour and a half as we watch Chelsea take on LAFC in the Club World Cup. I'll be there for that, so make sure you stick around for that. And we've got more of the same tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Be there or be square. Nicky, thanks very much. Take care.